Most of us have been told over the years to go to school, get good grades, go to the university so we can get out and get a great job. My dad told me the same thing. In fact, this little jacket here is almost the same jacket that he wore, so it reminds me of him, and I'm grateful for him and all that he taught me. But you know what? That wasn't for me. In fact, it's not for 60% of the population to sit in a cubicle to work for someone else so you can build their dreams instead of your own dreams. We're going to talk about the real reasons today why you should not work for a corporation, and I'm going to share with you 3 very impactful ideas about why. The corporate life was very, very challenging, but like most people, I wanted to have my own business. I wanted to be free. But I thought, okay, working my way up in that corporation was the way to be free. I could be at the top. I could do things that most people couldn't do. So I went to work. I went to work for a large national bank called Wells Fargo. Most of you have probably heard of that. So I was able to work my way up during college and after college, and I became a branch manager, and I got a chance to do great things as an assistant vice president and a vice president, and I was over the Western United States ATM servicing. So I got to see how ATMs worked, and it was very fascinating. I learned a little bit, but I was helping to build the other person's dreams. And so some of the challenges that started hitting me hard that motivated me to even get on the track to get my own business very quick was things like this. I remember getting a call one day from one of my branch managers over in Nevada, over in Reno, Nevada. And he just reported to me that one of his employees had stolen $700,000 that was supposed to be put into these ATM machines. And he skipped town and they couldn't find him. And so we brought in the police and we brought in the FBI and we brought in all these investigative services from the corporation. So immediately I had to jump on a plane and go to Reno, Nevada. And there we found that this person, we had finally caught up to him, and he had taken the money, $700,000, and buried it in the desert. Fortunately, it was all there. But here's the thing. These employees, why did they do that? You know, they're getting into a financial situation where they've got a lot of burdens. They're thinking, oh, this would be a quick solution. I can get out. I can just take this money and no one will know about it. Or maybe I can just skip town or whatever it is. Nobody can catch me. But they're wrong. And so we did catch up to him. And that ruined the rest of his life because he went to work for that corporation. You know what? There's an easier way to do this, I've found. You don't have to put yourself in the tough situations where you either have to manage that situation or, heaven forbid, you find yourself in a situation where you've had to be tempted or even follow through on taking money or taking things that didn't belong to you. In this case, it turned out okay because no one was hurt and we were able to get the funds back and move forward. But that person basically ruined his life for that one crazy action that he took. Now, sometimes in the corporate life, we're thinking, oh, we're not making enough money, so we got to figure out how to do that. That's in my case as well. Sometimes they're thinking, oh, I can just take this money and nobody can catch up to me. Well, we did, and that was the thing that caused him to ruin his life. So I hope that never happens to any of us, but it's a hard thing to oversee in the corporate world, to be able to see employees and see people fail like that and ruin their lives. So corporate life has not been fun in that sense. Another reason why I wanted to leave the corporate life was an incident that happened to me when I was sitting at home one day, and I got a call from our California location stating that one of our drivers who was putting money into the ATMs had been shot in the head. And I'm thinking, oh, how devastating that must be for him and his family. So obviously, I was about ready to go to my son's program that night at school, but I couldn't do that. I had to jump on a plane, and I had to get to California to be able to be with the team members down there and hopefully console the family members. So as I got down there, I found out that there had been no money stolen, but there was blood all over the money because it had been shot in the head, and the employee was in the hospital. We got a chance to go to the hospital, but we couldn't see him. He was in ICU, And we stayed there for quite a while. We helped console the family as best we could. And then a few days later, fortunately, that employee walked out of the hospital with the bullet still in his head. For some reason, they couldn't take it out, at least at that point. As far as I know, he's leading a good, solid life. You know, I didn't want to get on a plane that night, but it was the right thing to do because I had to be there for my corporation and be the kind of employee that they could rely on. And so I did that. It was disappointing to my son. It was disappointing to my family because I had to go there. But once I got there, I was able to help out and do whatever I could to help the situation. But the corporate life is really not for most people. Most of us want that business. Most of us want that freedom. I didn't have that freedom that night. I didn't have that freedom on a lot of occasions, which were smaller and other types of things that happened to me while I was working on the corporation because I had to put them number one. And they expect you to be number one. They don't expect your family to be number one in most cases. But this corporation was something that I was dedicated to do, the work that they had assigned me to do, and I did it faithfully. However, I was able to get into my own business later, which is so much better and so much easier. And that's the goal of what I would hope all of us want to achieve, is have that mini empire and have that freedom that comes from building our own business. So I'd worked my way up in this corporation, and I was vice president over the Western United States. And I was having a good career, and I thought I could move forward, but still there were some things that happened that just are not me. It's not what most of us would want to do. So as the company was moving forward, they were exceeding their goals and creating some great profit margins for the company and for the stockholders. But one day they came to me and they said, you know, this is just not enough. We got to do better. We got to be able to get some more financial numbers on the bottom line. They were more concerned about the bottom line versus the people. And so they came to me and said, okay, you're going to need to go here, here, and here, and you need to cut back the expenses as well as employees. You've got to fire employees. So I ended up having to fire branch managers, administrative people. These are people who had worked there for a long time. Their families were depending on that income. And it was during a time when it was a little more difficult to get a job. So it was scary to some of these people. So as I had to act on those directives from the corporation, being the good employee that I was, I carried it forward. But what it did to me is it devastated me, because this is not me to have to go in front of somebody and fire somebody and put them out of work and have it affect their families. And what's more, these people were friends of mine that I worked with. So now I ruin relationships because I'm the messenger, because the corporation wants more of the money on the bottom line. They just couldn't let it move forward. And so it was a difficult time. And that's really what broke me down in deciding, I don't want to do this anymore. I got to find something. I tried many, many things over the years on the side, these little side hustles, which weren't quite satisfactory enough to get to me to the point where I could lose my job and start working for myself. But the reason why I got out of there is because they were taking my freedoms away from me. They were dictating how I would do business. They were dictating me how I was going to take care of employees. They took care of my salary, of course, but it wasn't worth it to be able to continue to do those types of devastating practices within that corporation. What's more, I was helping to build their dreams. I was building the stockholders' portfolios. I wasn't building mine, I was helping them. So after all that, I decided it was best for me to move on. And I was able to get into something finally that helped me to achieve the freedom that my family and I had always looked forward to. And I'm going to talk about some of those things on some of the next videos that you're going to see. During the 12 years of my corporate career, I tried all these different side hustles. I wanted to create that freedom for myself while I was working. So I tried the mail orders. I tried network marketing. I tried direct sales. I tried direct marketing. I even did residential real estate and just about anything you can imagine. I even bought a retail store and had that managed by an employee. None of these things seemed to work for me until that one day when I came across the world of franchising. It changed my life. It changed the life of my family, and it has changed the lives of thousands of others that I've had the opportunity to work with over the years. It can change your life too. And I can show you how to do it if you'll click the link below. A member of our team will get with you. It's even more easier now than you can ever imagine. We've made it more easier. There's more technology. There's more ability to get financing. There's more ability to get more help. In fact, we care about you. The franchisors that we'll introduce you to will care about you and make sure that they do everything they can to help you succeed. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and watch the next video.